How would you like to take a new job, move across the country, and then face a pandemic as your first challenge? That is exactly what happened to the John Locke Foundation's new CEO, Amy Cooke. But despite finding herself in uncharted waters, Amy says that there's really no place she'd rather be than North Carolina, and no organization she would rather lead than the John Locke Foundation. Amy Cooke joins us now to take a look back at the first 6 months on the job. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Donna. Thanks for having me.
So no honeymoon period whatsoever in your new job as CEO and publisher of Carolina Journal as well. And I can assure folks that you were not timid. You didn't just stick your toe in the water and try to test the temperature. You just jumped right in. So what was it like?
Well, I wouldn't have scripted it this way. Not certain I would have said, please, in the first 6 weeks, give me a couple of major catastrophes, pandemic followed by social upheaval. But, we're put here for a reason, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else with any other organization. And the reason is John Locke Foundation has been doing this for 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary of defending and advancing freedom and principles that allow for individuals to thrive. And right now, at this moment in time, never have we been tested, not for public policy. We're not arguing about, marginal tax rates. We're actually defending freedom right now. And for those of us who have made this our life's mission, our professional mission to advance freedom so that every single individual has an opportunity to thrive in his or her own way, this is the place we want to be. We want to be in this fight because this is what we have done our whole professional lives. And when we're threatened the most is when we are at our best, is when we are most innovative. And you can see it in the writing that has come out of the John Locke Foundation and Carolina Journal. I've had people email me saying, you guys, first of all, thank you for being fearless in defense of freedom. We're not going to apologize for supporting and advancing free market economics and individual opportunity and policies that allow people to thrive. We're not going to apologize for that. We're not going to back down from that because freedom is always the answer. And so I've had people email me thanking us for being fearless, thanking us for being sort of a light in at this moment when some organizations seem lost or wondering whether or not, are we fighting for the wrong thing or we don't want to upset anyone. We don't either here at the Locke Foundation. But we're not going to back down from who or what we are, which is we are the champions of freedom. And that never changes. And that actually, to some extent, Donna, it makes our jobs a little bit, we're not having to find out who we are.
Right, very focused.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't change. And so that makes it somewhat easier, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
What's been fascinating to me is that over the years, advocating for freedom and free markets, we write a lot about it. We talk a lot about the role of government as juxtaposed to the individual. And of course, we want the individual to have more freedom, more choices, and we want government that's limited, based in the Constitution, and that essentially takes care of things that we can't take care for ourselves on our own, but is there to provide just certain core services. And Amy, as the pandemic has come into play, and we have seen Governor Roy Cooper with this muscular, robust use of government power to prohibit people from doing things. Now, of course, he says we have a public health situation on our hand, but we've been advocating for balance, for economic freedom, for economic health as well. And it seems to have crystallized, I think, for me and for some of my colleagues here, that when we have been talking and writing about the role of government, we're now experiencing the face of what we have written about for so many years.
Right. I think, first of all, let me say something about just Governor Roy Cooper's sort of cavalier attitude toward small businesses. I don't know that in my professional life I have ever seen an elected official so callous regarding somebody's livelihood. The fact that an individual business owner, somebody you have interviewed, is living on credit cards, doesn't know if he can make his rent payment, and not through bad choices of his own, but government. And this gets to your point about we are now experiencing the very things we have written about, like we are living it. Mm-hmm. These are people who, through no fault of their own, they didn't make bad business choices or anything other than that. Their only mistake right now is having a small business under Governor Roy Cooper's reign during a pandemic, who seems completely incapable of balancing public health with economic health. And they are not mutually exclusive. And to your point about that heavy-handedness of government, I have posted this question on my Facebook page. Do you think that one man, one elected official, should have the ability to wield this much power over almost 10.5 million people without any input from the Council of State, any input from the state legislature, and really complete disregard for the Constitution? You are absolutely right. We are living the very nightmare we have written about or said this is what can happen if government power goes unchecked. It is as if we no longer have three co-equal branches of government. It is a very scary time for people who want individuals to thrive and know that individuals are in the best position to make decisions about their families and the bottom line for freedom. So you're absolutely right. And it brings back to your original question. There is no place I'd rather be than with this group of people fighting for the freedom of every single North Carolinian.
You know, we have been so diligent here at the Locke Foundation, also at Carolina Journal, our journalism arm, in trying to present facts to people, trying to write about things that other people in the media or other nonprofit groups aren't really discussing. But I feel like we also have an obligation to provide North Carolinians with some hope, the hope that freedom and liberty brings. What is your hope for the next 6 months, having lived through this turbulent first 6 months on the job?
Well, so you're right about hope. Hope will outlast the pandemic, I think. And I know the one thing about the human condition is we are the most innovative when we are most challenged. And out of this will come great public policy innovation, probably new markets we never even thought of before. I mean, event coordinators have now turned into COVID coordinators. Right. Who knew that was going to be a thing? And I also think school choice. I think we are going to see parents exercising more and more choice over their children's education. All of that is good news for North Carolinians.